G'day, Stu from UAVfutures here, and welcome back to another episode of Tech Tuesday, where every Tuesday we get together, we talk about some new, exciting, or just different tech in the FPV world. And today, well, what we're going to be doing, we're going to be talking about hybrid FPV, the hybrid from RunCam, and also converting my old Rooster over, which I haven't flown in a long time. Well, I almost choked there. Which I haven't flown in a long time. We're going to be updating it and bringing it into the end of 2019 with some new tech. So what we're going to be mainly looking at is this little bad boy here, and then we're going to be quickly going through it on the bench, talking about it, the techs and the specs, all that sort of stuff. And then we're going to be putting it in the Rooster, taking it out for a spin and seeing how does this old quad fly with some new tech and all that sort of stuff. Now, while we're on the subject of the actual Armaton Rooster, I'm going to do a bit of a giveaway, so huge shout out to my Patreon supporters. I'm going to put a link down below to that, and also over on my Patreon page, because someone out there, to be honest, I haven't flown this thing enough. It's an amazing quad, and I've been, I guess, so busy with new quads coming in. I know it's a very good problem to have, but I want to give this back to you guys. So someone out there, this is the Rooster I used in the review. Fantastic quad. I flew it for a long time, but it's kind of been sitting on the wall for the last 8 months or so. So that part, I think, needs to change. I want to get it out to you guys so you can fly it around as well. So somebody out there is going to be winning that. It's also going to have this little hybrid RunCam. I'm going to leave that in there, so I'll send that out. And I was kind of going through some stuff, and I thought, you know what, let's just make a bit of a package. So somebody out there, I've got so many X lights as well, like it's a bit of a joke. This one's still completely new sealed in the box. You know, X lights galore that yeah, I will bind this up to an X-Lite and send you a little package with the X-Lite and also the Rooster in there with the hybrid. So yeah, you should have a nice little flying experience, and once you get your goggles, you should be off to the races. But enough of that, that'll be in the description down below over on my Patreon page. Go check that out. But what we're here to do today is check out the RunCam hybrid, and essentially what it is, it's very similar to the Tarsair, except we've only got one board, and that's probably my favorite thing. So we have a one board solution now that has a separate dedicated FPV camera and also a HD camera in there, and it's coming in with one board. It can record in 4K, and yeah, probably my favorite part, it's going to be so much easier now to put this thing in the micro sort of stacks because it is absolutely tiny. So if I stick it on the scales, let's wait till these tear off and see if we can do this. That wire is making it a bit tricky, but I've got a solution, bear with me. Good old egg cup, let's tear this off. And then what are we having for breakfast? Well, we're having a bit of RunCam hybrid. Let's jam this in the top right there. It's coming in at 18 grams. So for 20 grams, you're getting your FPV camera and also your 4K camera in a single board, tiny little stack. It's pretty simple. All you really need to do, you put your SD card in here. You do get a little extra that you can put like a little catch on there so it can stop your card springing out. I'm not gonna worry about that because I'm kind of lazy. And then to hook it up to your quad, it is really, really simple. You've just got the same as any other camera. Your video, your signal, your ground, and your voltage. Hook that up. You are off to the races, recording in some HD. And probably my favorite feature, if I get my phone out, let me get, I got a message from Calvin on here. So the RunCam app, and what I really like about this, I can't stand things on the Tarsair where you need to bind it up to the Wi-Fi on your phone and change your settings like that. It is a huge, huge pain in the butt. What you do with this one, you just simply select your camera. So we're going to be using the hybrid camera. I don't know if this is in focus, but it doesn't matter too much because it's just a QR code configuration. You go through, you choose, right, look at our resolution. What do we want our volume to be like? All that sort of stuff. You just simply go through, and then when you click, I think, where's apply? So this should apply, and then it'll give you a little QR code, and then all you need to do is you point your camera at that QR code, beep, it'll remember all those settings, and then you're ready to go. I really, really like that. You could even print these out on a piece of paper or something and have your favorite settings. So when you're out in the field, boom, you whip it out, beep, that's gonna be my type of recording. You don't need to connect to Wi-Fi, worry about all that sort of stuff. Even if your phone dies and you've printed them out, because mine is like the world's oldest phone, thank you very much, it was a gift, I've been using it for a long time. Even if your phone dies, you're still gonna be able to change your settings with those printouts, all that sort of stuff. I love, absolutely love that you don't need to have it connected by Wi-Fi, which drives me up the wall. The only thing I probably would like is when they send it to you, Runcam, it'd be really cool if you could just include some of those little printouts, like just of some of the most popular settings. So there might be one that was like format SD card, one that did 120 frames at 60 at 1080p, and maybe one that set it to like 4K 30 or whatever it is. Just have a couple of those simple configurations that FPV pilots like on a small little book, and then we could go through in the manual even, and hey, look, that's my favorite setting, the standard settings. Beep, beep, beep. We're ready to go. So what I'm gonna do, I sounded so British then. What I'm gonna do now, Governor. I promise I'll never do that again. Can you tell I'm having a good time? What I'm gonna do now, we're gonna install it in this little craft, and then we'll take it for a spin and find out just how well it goes. So let's do it. Cut back to when this is all ready to rock and roll, and then head out to the field in 3, 2, 1. Radio, so you can see I've installed it. It took about 2 minutes, I would say, in terms of my soldering. I'll put a picture on the screen anyway. Put it in the front. These roosters aren't really made for these cameras. This is kind of before this size was around, so I just grabbed a random sort of mount from another thing. I'll see if I can link one of those down below, but it fits in there better than I thought it would, and now it's time. Let's take it out, rip it around, and just show you some of that HD footage and also some DVR. So let's do it out to the field and just jump in to the flight. Alrighty, 3, 2, 1. Okie dokie, here we go. We're just going to jump straight in out with some HD, also show you some DVR, and I got to say, I think it actually turns up pretty good. Now, you're not going to see the world's most exciting flying here because turns out I actually did have some VTX problems on this bad boy, so I really didn't want to drop it in the drink, but luckily that doesn't affect our HD recording or anything, the actual camera quality we can talk about. Trying to get some nice detailed shots of the tree there. You can see some of the details coming up quite nicely. Super bright days, which means you're going to really be working some of those contrasts in the shadow. We'll do a few flips and rolls and stuff, try and focus at the sun a little bit, I think, as well. And overall, I'm going to say if this is the type of HD footage you can get, I'm more than happy with it. I definitely still think a GoPro does look nicer, but overall, I don't think too many people are going to be complaining if they put this in a really, really small rig. Because as far as the small rigs go, you know, if you've got a 3-inch or under, I think, I'm laughing here, I think some people really are going to find a special use for this. Now, what we should do, let's jump over to some of the DVR footage as well. And I should also say, I didn't notice any latency when I was flying this around, or nothing really noticeable anyway. It didn't really affect my type of flying that I do. But let's check out some DVR. And then here we go, on board, just jumping straight into the DVR. I don't have any OSD displaying or anything like that. Just wanted to get as pure picture as we can coming on here. And I'm going to say, I think if it came down to the HD versus this side of things, versus the actual FPV feed, Runcam's doing a better job on the HD. This one didn't feel quite so clear and a little bit granularly or a little bit grainy. You know, maybe shimmer might be the right sort of word I'm looking for. Maybe, not too sure how it's sort of going there. But yeah, I definitely think it also felt very green and blue versus some of the Runcam colors, which I tend to feel a little bit warmer. This felt a little bit more like a Foxeer camera, which was a little bit strange, but some people like it. But yeah, overall, look, it wasn't absolutely spectacular. It wasn't the best image FPV I've seen, and this part definitely freaked me out with the reception. That's why I didn't want to push it too far over the water. I'm sure you guys can understand, but the HD side of things, I think, performed really, really well, and the FPV side of things, well, just, I'm going to say, like average. Nothing to write home about. Nothing too special. Rightio, so there it is. Straight after that flight, I went and got some Maccas, had some lunch, and I don't know, what are your drink sizes like? So in Australia, they're pretty small, but I heard in the US, it's like absolutely gigantic. But there it is. There's my review, my Tech Tuesday. Quick look at the Runcam Hybrid, bringing my Armaton Rooster up to speed. And I'm going to say, for the price, I think the price of $100 is an awful lot of money. You might be able to get a cheaper, just dedicated action cam. But if you want something, a dual cam that has that one small, I guess, little board, I think this thing is absolutely fantastic. The FPV feed, I think, was probably a 7 out of 10, but I did like the HD that I got from it. I thought that showed up very, very nicely, and Runcam does a pretty good job at their HD recordings. Now, one thing I do want to say, I really would have liked to push this thing a little bit more, but where I went, it was probably, I've never been to that spot before. I was getting a little bit of interference, and if I remember correctly, I think the VTX in this bad boy might be burnout. But don't worry, if you're on the Patreon giveaway or whatever that sort of stuff is, I'll make sure I throw a new VTX in there so you can hook it up and be on your way with this bad boy, bound up to the radio, all ready to rock and roll. But what do you guys think? Drop your comments down below. Definitely subscribe for more FPV related content. The Patreon link for the giveaway for this and the radio, that should be down there somewhere as well. Thanks, Maccas, for the lunch. I feel a bit sleepy now. I'm gonna go edit this, and as always, happy flying.